Good day, everyone. It's July 14th, which is Bastille Day in France. So I hope all are doing well. These past few weeks, because of the past year of COVID, we've been doing a lot of memorial services for families whose relatives died this past year, and some of them because of COVID. And with this in mind, I thought I would share a story with you that I discovered on CNN by John Blake, entitled, "They Lost Their Loved Ones to COVID, Then They Heard From Them Again." And John Blake tells the story of Ian and Michelle Horn, who got married. And when they got married, Ian wore a purple tie on the wedding day because it was Michelle's favorite color. Then the pandemic came. And in the fall of 2020, after a long battle, Michelle died due to complications of COVID. But not long after his wife's death, Ian wondered if Michelle was still speaking to him. He was driving to his job as a local radio DJ, and about 24 streetlights flanking the highway had turned purple. They looked like lavender string of pearls, he said, glowing in the night sky. So Ian took it as a sign. He said, "Michelle knew that was my route to work that I take every morning in the early morning hours, and that was the route that she took on her final drive to the hospital." He said, "I remember simply smiling and feeling overwhelmed with the idea that Michelle was close." Now, Blake goes on to say the coronavirus has killed more than 600,000 Americans. We all realize that. Many never had a chance to hug or say farewell to loved ones who died alone and isolated in hospital wards. But there is another group of pandemic survivors who say that they have been granted a second chance to say goodbye. They are people like Ian Horn, who believe that they have been contacted by a loved one who died from the coronavirus. These experiences can be subtle, relatives appearing in hyper-real dreams or a sudden whiff of fragrance worn by a departed loved one. Other encounters are more dramatic, he says, feeling a touch on your shoulder at night or seeing the full-bodied form of a recently departed relative appear at the foot of your bed. Now, granted, these stories may sound implausible, but they are in fact part of a historical pattern. Whenever there is a massive tragedy such as a pandemic, a war, or a natural disaster, there is a corresponding surge in reports of people seeing the dead or trying to contact them. For instance, the 1918 influenza epidemic sparked a spiritualism craze as Americans turned to seances and Ouija boards to contact departed loved ones. Even after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, there were a wave of people started reporting sightings of and even conversations with those who had been taken by the bombing in New York City. But these experiences are really common in the psychological field, and they call them ADCs, or after-death communications. Research suggests at least 60 million Americans have had these experiences, and that they occur across cultures, religious beliefs, ethnicities, and income levels. What it says to us is there's a lot more going on in our world than we can possibly imagine. God works in many different ways. We as Catholic Christians believe in the resurrection and that the soul lives, the spirit of our loved ones live, and that spirit we can feel and experience. I also came upon a great poem by the 13th century poet Rumi that really does bolster our own belief in life after death. The poem is "When I Die," and it goes, "When I die, when my coffin is being taken out, you must never think I am missing this world. Don't shed any tears, don't lament or feel sorry. I'm not falling into a monster's abyss. When you see my corpse is being carried, don't cry for my leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm arriving at eternal love. When you leave me in the grave, don't say goodbye. Remember, a grave is only a curtain for the paradise behind. You'll only see me descending into a grave. Now watch me rise. How can there be an end when the sun sets, the moon goes down? It looks like the end. It seems like a sunset. But in reality, it is a dawn. When the grave locks you up, that is when your soul is freed. Have you ever seen a seed fall into the earth, not rise with new life? Why should you doubt the rise of a seed named human? Have you ever seen a bucket lowered into a well coming back empty? Why lament for a soul when it can come back like Joseph from the well? When for the last time you close your mouth, your words and soul will belong to the world of no place and time. What a great poem. What a bolstering of our belief in life after death, that we arrive at eternal love. Let's take that to heart as we all reflect on those loved ones in our lives who have died, and in particular this past year for those who died as a result of the coronavirus. Continue to have a good July, everyone. Happy Bastille Day.